Wow. Okay. I did not expect to be making a video as soon as I woke up this morning. You guys might remember maybe like a month and a bit ago, we covered this cylindrical UAP that was recovered in the desert.
Fuck me. I just burned my hand. So it's like evenly magnetized. Right at the tip is the strongest. You can feel it.
Now, understandably, this thing had like a mixed reaction from you guys. A lot of people were calling it fake. Other people thought it was real. Honestly, personally, I thought there was something to it, but I understand some of the criticisms that it had from some people, and I want to address them in this video and talk about them. But this person who goes by the name James, who we're going to look at in a moment, has just done a live video hours ago trying to drill into this thing. And what happens is honestly kind of scary and crazy. And if this video is real, it's probably the most significant video out there in relation to any of this UAP stuff. And there are reasons why I think it is real, from looking at it from a visual effects perspective on what could be fake and picking up on some details in the video that to me show that something is actually going on here. I think there's something to this. Let's get straight into it. We'll break it down. We'll address your concerns. We'll watch the video. And honestly, this is wild. My name is Josh. Welcome to Polarity. Subscribe if you're new here. Let's get straight into this one.
Eventually people are going to say, what the hell is going on?
No matter how far you go into the dark, when you flip, you go exactly the same place to the light in our galaxy. Everything. Because everything is in balance. Everything is a polarity.
I think it's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally it's going to be so weird that people are going to have to talk about how weird it is.
Okay, so since this original video came out, and I'll just chuck the thumbnail down here if anyone hasn't seen it, and if you want some context, go and maybe watch that one first, because we sort of went into these videos that he posted in a bit more detail. But since that video went up, James has done a lot of updates, as you can see, and I had a lot of people messaging me saying, you know, what's going on with James? Do we have any updates? And, you know, yes, there were updates, but honestly, nothing was significant enough for me to make a video about. Like, I probably could have, but I don't know. It just didn't really interest me enough until now. So you can see here, there's plenty of stuff has happened since then, and I've sort of kept a couple of tabs on what's going on. But what we're going to be looking at is today, he's just done a live stream drilling into this thing. And I guess before we get into the video, one of the things I'll address quickly is people saying that he's just doing this for money. Look, I'll just say, based on what I can see here, I don't think this YouTube account is monetized at all. I don't think this guy's making any money from this. And for anyone who doesn't know, you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time on your channel to be monetized. And when you're posting videos that are 2 minutes, 38 seconds, these are his most popular uploads, by the way, 2 minutes, 38 seconds, 2 minutes, 1 minute. This is not enough. This guy's not got 4,000 hours of watch time, I don't think. His longest video is like 9 minutes, and that doesn't even have 10,000 views. So, you know, do the math. I don't think this guy's made $1 off of any of this, personally. This is a close-up of the cylinder. We looked at this in the last video, also known as the Juga tube, because as you can see there, you can clearly see what we know as the Star of David. One of the other big criticisms of this object was people saying, this is clearly fake because it's obviously done by hand with like a Dremel drill. It doesn't look perfect. It looks welded together. So the people that are saying these kind of things, I think perhaps the problem here is that you guys have jumped to the conclusion that this is some alien artifact from Zeta Reticuli or something like that. You've assumed that this is non-human. I don't necessarily think that that is the case. Obviously, when we're talking about, you know, booger spheres and all this kind of stuff, the fact that it could be non-human is part of the conversation. But even with the booger sphere, the bet sphere, I feel like people are forgetting the fact that we all agree that there are secret societies in the world that are withholding occult knowledge, probably technology too. And we all know that people who get too close to exotic propulsion, free energy, anti-gravity, all of this kind of thing, they get harassed, they get deleted. Okay, I agree that this thing looks man-made, but I don't necessarily think that means that it is fake. This could be something man-made. It could be old. It could be new. It could be ancient. It could be modern. But this could be some form of technology that we don't know about, that is not in the mainstream. I don't know what it is, but I just think closing our mind off to the fact that it looks man-made means that it's fake is sort of narrow-minded. I think we need to stay open to the possibilities here. Now, just before I show you guys the clip of the live stream of James drilling into this thing and what happens, I want to just give you a quick comparison here. So this is the room that he's been keeping the tube in. And I just want to show you this for a bit of a lighting comparison. I want you to take note of where the lighting is coming from, because this is critical when we're going to analyze the video of the live stream of what's just happened. I'll let it play for a little bit.
Okay guys, I'm just doing an update today. I haven't really been around it too much, but today because I've been busy, but
So you can see here the light bulb in this spot is coming from the top down in this instance. Now, I think in this video he doesn't do too much. He just kind of walks around the tube, talks about it, says that he feels sick being around it, and suggests that it could be some kind of like radiation. Then in this one,
okay guys, good morning.
This is also a video that we looked at in the last one. Link below if you want to see the full analysis. But in this one, his lights start playing up. And I think even at some point, he has to change his light bulbs in this video. I think somewhere, yeah, around here, you see. So he's taken both the light bulbs out of the room. Now here, actually, I've got a better picture of this. We can see this a bit more close up. This is the same still frame, right? You can see the first empty light socket, and if you look closely in line with it down towards the back of the room, you can see another empty light socket, okay? So there are 2 points where light could be coming from in this part of this room, okay? So let's just keep this in mind. So now I'm going to show you guys the actual video of James opening this thing and what happens to him. And we're going to then sort of analyze it and talk about it, because this is, honestly, I think this is kind of crazy. So I'm actually going to show you guys the first time on this screen because it's in vertical. So I want you guys to be able to see basically the whole thing. A tiny bit is cropped from the top and bottom.
All right guys, it's showtime. Gonna take this drill. We're gonna see what we can do here. Make sure the bit's tight. Everything ready? I didn't find gloves, which is okay, but anyway, I'm just gonna not use gloves. And yeah, I think we're ready to go. Gonna hold this in my hand. What is happening? Yes, I'm so nervous about this, guys, but
So just to reiterate, he's on a live stream, by the way. This was live streamed 4 hours ago.
anyway. Yeah, we're gonna... Can I open this? Wow, is this a bad idea? It does have power. It's in Milwaukee. Look, it's full.
He's just talking to his chat.
Anyway, I guess we'll begin. I'm gonna go right in a hole there. Is this a good idea, guys? So over here, everybody says do it, say don't do it. Sponsor, there is no sponsor. I hope somebody will at least save this in case I die. It's just making me feel bad already, but anyway. We'll start on 1. Well, we can't put in 1. I guess we'll start at 2. What is that? No, I'm sorry.
Okay, that sounds like digital audio like interference, like something is going on there. I want to address what I think most people are going to immediately jump on in that video as a reason to dismiss it and give you my thoughts. I think the first thing we'll talk about is his reaction, okay? When he starts going like, people would say it sounds fake. It sounds like bad acting. I don't want to seem like I'm fully defending him because I don't know, but what I just think is important is keeping an open mind. And this is why I think there might be something to it. There are videos that you can watch on the internet of people being in like near misses of car crashes, like dash cams of people about to get hit by a car. And when they think that they're about to die, they don't scream like in a horror movie. They don't let out a big shriek. They make some weird noises, okay? Like embarrassing noises. Noises that are very embarrassing and, like, if you're a man, quite emasculating, actually. And, you know, that is what he kind of does here. Like, that just sounds like the sound of pure fear. It's not a big scream. It is just some weird involuntary noise of, like, horror and shock that comes out of your body. That is kind of what that sounds like to me. I'm just trying to offer a different way of thinking here. I don't necessarily think that's bad acting. I think that could be fear in its rawest form. But there's more to why I think that. Now, pretty much as soon as this went live in my Discord, this got posted in my Discord, right, by you guys. One of the comments that I saw a couple of people making is that the drill should be sliding around if it was on a sort of angled, smooth surface. But I think that's dismissed pretty quickly by the fact that he clearly puts the drill tip into one of these dremeled out areas, which is like a pretty standard practice. Like you would pre-drill a small hole with something else if you were to drill into a surface like this, just to avoid the drill tip sliding around like that. And I think that's clearly what he does. So I don't think we need to spend too much time talking about that. I think that's, you know, pretty clear why the drill bit isn't sliding around, because he's using these engraved sections to place the drill. But it's the lighting and what he sees in the video that I think is the most interesting part about this, okay? So let's just take note here. I want to make sure you guys can see everything that I'm referring to. If we just take note from about here, right, we can see there is a light in front of the drill that's very blue, okay? You can see here on the tube, there's no blue light, okay? There is only the light that seems to be coming from slightly behind the tube. So it looks like he's perhaps moved the stands that the tube is on from the first video, because you can see, unless he's moved the light above it, but I doubt that, the light's probably fixed. You can see the shadow is casting forward slightly. So we know that the light bulb is slightly behind the tube and above it. And that's why we're getting the shadow on the front side, the camera side. But there's no blue light, okay? You can see, look at the tube. There's no blue light on it right now. But then you can see he uses the drill, or he turns the drill on, and the drill has a light on it. If for people who are using a drill in the dark, it lights up what you're trying to drill or screw in, right? That's what it's for. So you can see when he pulls the trigger on the drill, it reflects on the tube, okay? So we can see that this blue light is coming from the drill.
Open this. Wow, is this a bad idea?
And you can see as he moves the drill around, we see that light sort of change and pan across the tube. Keep an eye on that.
It does have power. It's in Milwaukee. Look, it's full. Anyway, I guess we'll begin. I'm gonna go right in a hole there. Is this a good idea, guys? So over here, everybody says do it, say don't do it. Sponsor, there is no sponsor. I hope somebody will at least save this in case I die. It's just making me feel bad already, but anyway.
And you can see there, as soon as you heard the drill, the light comes on. So we know that this blue light here is from the drill.
We'll start on 1.
Again, you see it sort of flicking and moving as he moves the
Well,
drill.
we can't put it in 1. I guess we'll start at 2.
Okay, so something happens here. That's very obvious. The whole lighting in the room changes. The shadows in the background become less, there's less contrast in the shadows behind him. So we immediately know, well, let's just watch that again, that something has just lit up the room. Another light source has just entered the room. Something has happened. Look at the shadow behind the box and keep watching. Something kind of goes on there, but that's not the most significant part. Let's keep watching. Keep your eye on the tube now. What is that? Okay, now there's a second blue light. So we know that this new blue light that has appeared must be from a separate light source because we can already see where the light from the drill has appeared, and we know that the top light source is coming from the roof. And obviously a cylinder has a rounded surface, so we can almost see how that reflects the directions of the room, with the white light coming from the ceiling, the drill coming from 2, 3 o'clock, and then almost all the way down on the angle, a new blue light source has appeared, which seems like it's coming from the backside of the room. So let's just keep an eye on this new bottom blue line and watch how it doesn't move even after he moves the drill. So you can see that the blue line that was from the drill, the middle line, has begun to move across the tube because the drill has moved that way. This blue line here at the bottom is still there and it does not move. The only thing that changes, it seems like where either his arm or the drill or something is blocking it. And that's why you see a chunk of it missing here.
What is that?
He places the drill down and you can see, even though it's a little bit blurry, that there is a gap in the bottom blue line right where the drill is. But from behind the drill, you can still see it. And that little light underneath the drill would be shining in like a cone shape forward. And you can still see it kind of hitting up this top area here. But it doesn't go behind the drill, but the bottom blue line still is. And then we see this. Okay. Now, if we go back to our screenshot from before, and let me just pull this one on top, you can see that this blue light is coming from what we saw before is nowhere. And I've got it angled like this just so you can kind of see. Look at this. That's, it's not perfect, but it's almost kind of 1-for-1 with the angle. And you can see when we move this, like there's nothing in that background shot that should be creating light in this space, especially not an electric blue light like that. And you can see here, like if we look at the ground, there's no like extension leads leading to like a, like some kind of lamp that could be set up there. The room, for the most part, looks exactly the same. And, the only light fixings are in the ceiling. This light is clearly not in the ceiling. And as we saw before, if we go back a little bit, when this light appears somewhere just after here, let's just watch this bit again. There. Something just flicks on. Something changes. And I don't think it's coming from the drill. In fact, I'm very certain of it. It is a similar color. And you could argue that maybe like the angle of the drill here just like reflected on a different way and it caught the light. But I think that gets debunked pretty quickly when you see him move the drill here. Like, watch that bottom light source. Dude, that light source is coming from the back of the room. That light is there. No, I'm sorry. This is a very strange noise. Now, there's more to this. There's more to this. Like I said, this goes for half an hour, okay? So he basically... Something happens to him here where he is unconscious, he passes out. I don't know. Now, as you can see, this clip goes for another 26 minutes, okay? I'm not going to play you the whole thing, but I boosted the audio by 30 decibels, which is a lot, okay? Just to try and pick up on any background noises. Now, not really much happens for a while here. You hear maybe like the odd car in the background. But after a while, we start seeing some very weird lights happening in the video. And there's also like a weird kind of bang and more strange audio effects. See this? I think this is just like a car passing by. All right, so I've skipped forward a little bit now. We're now 10 minutes into the clip. And you can see here, okay, we're at 11 minutes and you're seeing some kind of weird light happening. I don't know what this is. I don't know what it could be. To try and explain what it could be if he was faking this is like perhaps turning the torch on his phone and taking his torch from like flat against something to like doing this to like show a bit of light as he's recording. But this happens for so long and it happens with such consistency. It's very smooth too, like the way this light kind of fades sort of like in and out. It feels very smooth. Like if he was doing this by hand, he's finessing it. I don't think that's the case here. And I also think if his phone was hard up against something to squash out the light of the torch and create some kind of strobing effect, the internal microphone of the camera would pick up the noise of the phone up against something and moving against it, especially at 30 decibels boosted. So we're at 12 and a half minutes in now. We're going to skip forward a little bit. We're now coming up to 17 minutes where we start to hear a bang. So I've taken the volume back down because the bang is already loud. Very strange. That's basically the only noise there is. The only significant noise that sounds like, you know, something happened then. Something fell, something knocked, something happened. Then it's basically just silence again for a while. If we skip forward to the last 21 minutes, I've boosted the audio here by 18 decibels, which is still very significant. And basically this humming that you can hear plays for the rest of the video, which is 8 minutes. Now, I will leave a link to this full live stream in the description. I don't know if it's going to get deleted. I've got a copy of it now, but it's there if you guys want to check it out. The timestamps that I'm using, like I said, I've skipped to 21 minutes here. I cut out the first chunk of the video because he's basically just hanging around doing nothing for like the first 20 minutes, okay? So my version of this is like about half an hour. This deserves more investigation, I think. I don't know why this guy would fake it. He's definitely not made any money. He's never shown his face, so there's no clout involved. The only thing could be attention. Maybe this guy's just doing this for attention, but I don't know. I just don't really get that vibe. But I do agree, it's very strange. It's wild. But I mean, isn't this whole topic kind of odd? Sometimes I feel like when we talk about this topic, we all know that we're talking about strangeness and weirdness, but then when we're confronted by it and we see it, it's so sort of like reality shattering that people kind of just like flip back to default mode and say that it's fake, even though they've been kind of researching this strangeness and looking for answers the whole time. Feels like sometimes when we might get presented with them, it's just too much for some people and they just look for any excuse as to why it could be fake. But let me just be clear, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. This could be fake. I am open to that as always, but I just think this deserves a little bit more attention than it's getting, and it definitely deserves more investigation here. And this is how the video ends. This just drags out. This light comes back. The strobing effect comes back. I'm skipping forward now. We're 26 minutes into this video. The same hum is in the background. The light's kind of gone now. We're at the last 40 seconds. And you can sort of see there at the very end, that light just sort of begin to come back. But that's it. And then it just cuts out. So there you go. I don't really know what to make of this just yet, but I think this is a significant update and it's something that needs to be shared and spoken about, especially on the off chance that it is real. If this is real, this needs to be spoken about and it needs to be circulated. If it's not real and it's a LARP, I don't know what you've really benefited from this other than people talking about it. But, you know, how does that serve you? I don't know. But I'm interested to know what you guys think in the comments. Maybe we can get some more expert analysis on this footage, on the audio as well. I think this is interesting and it certainly captivates me a little bit more than the kind of people that are talking in congressional hearings and things like that, because we really just seem to be going in circles there. This is at least something a little bit different, a new angle to approach the topic with, and it's real people talking about it. And I always do feel more inclined to at least listen to a real person rather than someone who literally tells us to our face that they come from a counterintelligence agency. So if you want to stay up to date with this one, guys, make sure you're subscribed. If you're not, again, if the updates are significant, I will post them. I will keep you up to date. But until then, keep being good, be kind to each other, get outside and touch some grass. We're live streaming almost every day. Got lots of videos coming. It's an exciting time to be on Polarity. Follow the other channels below, Josh Stradamus TV, where I'm doing travel and lifestyle stuff, and also Polarity 2.0, where we upload clips of the live streams. So until next time, guys, take care of each other, and I'll see you then. Peace.